I start this video, I would like to announce a spoiler alert. If you're not caught up on the show or have watched it in the entire show, you have been warned that there are probably gonna be spoilers in this episode. Alright, now let's get on with it. Welcome back, guys! It's Arcus here again, and this time we're gonna review That 70's Show. And That 70's Show aired between 1998 and 2008. No, sorry, 2006. So it went on for 8 seasons, and it's a really classic comedy series. So it centers around a group of teenage friends and their lives and their misshapes and their coming of age in the 1970s Wisconsin. So by this you have the gang. It's Eric Foreman, which is played by Topher Grace. Then you also have Jackie Burkhart, played by Mila Kunis. You have Stephen Hyde, played by Danny Masterson. You have Donna Pinciotti, played by Laura Prepon. Then you have Fez, which funnily enough stands for foreign exchange student, because it's a running gag throughout the entire show that you actually never get to know his real name. So it's just called Fez, which stands for foreign exchange student. So that's a really funny concept to me. And then also they have Michael Kelso in the group, which is portrayed by Ashton Kutcher, which is become a kind of a big actor. So this was sort of his starting point in his acting career. So these are the main characters in the group of friends, and then you also have some other recurring characters such as Eric's parents, which is Kitty Foreman and Red Foreman. And Kitty Foreman is played by Deborah Jo Roop. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of the words to the actors. Some of them are a bit hard to pronounce, at least in my own personal opinion. So then you have Red Foreman, as I said, as well, and he's portrayed by Kurtwood Smith. And then you also have Donna's dad, Bob Pinciotti, which is portrayed by Don Stark. And these are the characters that appear most in the show. But the parents are they're in mostly every episode, but it's not about their lives, it's about the teenagers and all the fun things that they come up with and so forth. So immediately from the first episode you get thrown right into the group. You get to know their funny things. They're in high school, so the first episode's about them sitting down at the party, and they're trying to come up with a way to figure out how to steal the beer. Because in their own opinion, it's set in the 70s, so there's a lot of how it was in the 70s probably. But so they also try to shadow the fact that there were a lot of kids smoking back in the day, but they did it in a really clever way, because they can't actually show it in the show that they're smoking. So they did this sort of camera angle, which is sort of a really unique and funny way. So they have a character sit right in front of the camera, and then it pans between them like they're sitting in a circle, but you only get to see one character at a time in front of the camera. So, and these are some of the most hilarious moments throughout the entire show, because they sit and laugh, and they come up with these so oddly obscure ideas. I don't even know how the writers came up with this sort of thing, but it's really hilarious. It's a really, really amazing show. I cannot give it props enough. It's definitely a good comedy show. So, as I said before, there are 8 seasons of the show, but in my own personal opinion, I did not like the 8th season, because for some reason they decided that Eric should not be in it anymore. I don't know if it was something with the actor Topher Grace. I don't know if he quit or if he got fired or somewhat, but either way, he's not in the 8th season of the show. So therefore Eric's sort of out of the picture, and they try to fill him with this new guy named Randy, which they sort of just put him in there without any good explanation or anything. Because by now Hyde owns a record store, so he's looking for help, and he's just sitting there talking to Michael and Leo. And then all of a sudden this guy Randy comes in and is like, "Oh, hey, I see you have a job opening," and so forth. So I guess that was not strange, because that could happen, how to introduce a new character. But then all of a sudden they're main hanging out spot, which is Eric Foreman's basement, all of a sudden Randy's just there with the guys all the time without any real good explanation as to how they became friends and so forth. He just throws in there and are in their lives and so forth. So that's a bit complicated, and I did not like it. And also the fact I found pretty strange is why the hell are they still hanging out at Eric Foreman's basement? Because none of the characters actually live there anymore, and Eric's not even there. So I mean, sure, I get it, because they want to have it like the same old spot with the parents up, living there as well, so they can get them inside the show as well. But it was a bit odd as to why they were hanging out there and not some other place. Because, Michael and Fess, they also get their own apartment, but then after, I think it's about the third episode, Aston Kutcher also quits the show, or if he quits or got, I don't think he got fired, I think he quit by himself. So then you have both Eric and Michael, which are not in it. And for me, Michael was one of the characters that was one of the most enjoyable to watch, because he played that character so well. He's such a funny and goofy character and really dumb, but it makes for hilarious moments that I don't think any of the other characters could actually pull off. So it was really sad for him to go. So the show, it just wasn't the same in the 8th season. But the other 7 seasons were really good. I mean, the only episode that I really did not like was the musical episode that they decided to do. I don't know what it is with TV shows these days, or in the past as well, that, nowadays every show, they must have a musical number, it feels like. And yes, some shows do it really well. Like, for instance, I watched the Flash musical episode, and that is really good. Props to them. But the musical show in that 70's episode, it was really poorly made. I mean, yes, the song choices were really good, because they're great songs, but I don't think the characters did them justice. Because they tried to have everyone singing, but almost none of the characters actually knew how to sing. So it just sounded very weird, and the voices did not fit the songs. It was just a really awkward episode to watch, and it was sort of, I mean, I get what they try to do, because they had it in Fess head, which is, he dreams a lot and has big hopes, and he's sort of weird as well. So he dreams that everything is a musical inside his head, because he's auditioning for the musical in the school. So therefore he's imagining what their lives would be if it was a musical. But then they could have done it in such a better way, and they should not definitely have the characters singing. I mean, most of them, they can't sing, so it does not sound well. So I did not like that episode. But aside from that, the other episodes were really great. So as I said, there are a lot of comedy shows out there. This is definitely one you should watch. Because, I mean, there's some story throughout it, but, as in most comedy shows, there's not a great story focus. It's more about the comedy in them and the laughs, and, you follow these characters as they evolve throughout the show. So, yeah. So my review for that 70's show, I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. Because, as I said, there are some down points, and the fact that the 8th season probably shouldn't have happened, in my opinion. They should have just ended it after 7th. But I guess why they continued to do it, I get why they did it, but I believe they should have ended it after the 7th. So therefore that takes my rating down a bit, because otherwise it would have been higher, because it's a really funny show. So there you have it. As always, got any questions, thoughts, anything, just leave a comment down below, and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, bye!